I watched my sister's manicured fingers hover over the shredder's mouth, my manuscript dangling between them like a condemned man's last cigarette. The smirk on her face told me everything I needed to know about sisterly love. My name is Gabriella, and this was supposed to be the proudest moment of my life. Instead, I stood frozen in my literary agent's office, watching 2 years of work transform into confetti. It's for your own good, Vanessa said, feeding another chunk of pages into the machine. You can't send this artsy nonsense to publishers, right, Leandro? Leandro, my agent of 3 years, lounged behind his mahogany desk like a bored emperor. The market doesn't want experimental fiction from unknown writers, Gabriella. I told you to write something commercial. But you said, my voice cracked, you said it was promising. You said the concept was unique. Unique doesn't pay bills. He picked up his phone, already dismissing me. Listen to your sister. She understands marketing. The shredder's whine filled the silence as more of my pages disappeared. I'd been so proud of this story, so certain it would prove everyone wrong. My mother called writing just a phase. Vanessa dubbed it my little hobby. But Leandro had seemed different. He'd encouraged me, guided me, made me believe. There! Vanessa dusted off her hands. Now you can focus on something realistic. Maybe try blogging? I stared at the wastebasket, my words reduced to strips. That was my only printed copy. Oh, sweetie. Vanessa's mock sympathy felt like acid. You'll thank me later. Remember when I stopped you from wearing that hideous dress to prom? Same thing. I spent 2 years writing artistic trash, Leandro cut in. The prose was purple, the plot meandering. It would have embarrassed you in the long run. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. How did the meeting go? Did Vanessa help make it better? Of course. Vanessa always made everything better. Vanessa, the marketing genius. Vanessa, the family favorite. Vanessa, who'd never written anything longer than an Instagram caption. I have another meeting, Leandro announced. Gabriella, take some time to think about your direction. Maybe try romance or self-help. Something simpler. I nodded mechanically, gathering my bag. Vanessa touched my shoulder. Dinner tonight? We can brainstorm new ideas. I'm busy. I shrugged off her hand. Don't be dramatic, she sighed. I'm trying to help you avoid humiliation. That's what big sisters do. The elevator ride down was silent. In the lobby, Vanessa's phone chimed. I glimpsed the email notification. Ghostwriting proposal from Leandro Miller. My stomach lurched. You're working with Leandro? Oh, that? She waved dismissively. Just exploring options. He thinks I should write a memoir. You know, about growing up with... She paused, examining her nails. Well, about family dynamics. The pieces clicked into place. The surprise meeting, the shredder, the sudden concern for my literary reputation. You planned this, I whispered. Vanessa's laugh was practice, perfect. Don't be paranoid. I'm just looking out for you like always. She checked her watch. I've got a meeting. Text me when you're feeling less emotional. I watched her stride away, her heels clicking on marble, victory in every step. Through the glass doors, I saw Leandro's sleek car pull up. Vanessa slipped inside without a backward glance. My phone buzzed again. Mom, Vanessa says you're upset. Remember, she knows what's best. Why not try something easier? I turned off my phone and walked out into the street. The summer air felt thick, suffocating. 2 years of work destroyed in minutes. 2 people I trusted conspiring behind my back. 2 betrayals served with smiles. But they'd forgotten something crucial. Writers don't need paper to tell stories. We carry worlds in our heads, weapons in our words, and sometimes the stories we write in anger burn brighter than the ones we write in love. I pulled out my laptop, opened a new document, and began to type. The thing about revenge is that it reads better than it lives. 3 weeks after the shredder incident, I sat in a dimly lit coffee shop staring at my laptop screen while my best friend Kylan read over my shoulder. "Holy shit, Gabby," he whispered. "This is dark, like deliciously dark." I took a sip of my now cold coffee. Too much? No, it's perfect. The protagonist is ruthless but sympathetic. Readers will eat this up. He scrolled through more pages. "But why are you writing under a pseudonym?" Before I could answer, my phone lit up with a text from Mom. "Vanessa's book announcement party tonight. Don't forget." "That's why," I said, turning my phone face down. "My sister's apparently writing a memoir about growing up with a delusional sister chasing ghosts." Direct quote from her Instagram. Kylan's eyes widened. "She's writing about you? Using me as her cautionary tale?" I pulled up Vanessa's latest social media post. "Look, can't wait to share my journey of supporting a sibling through their artistic delusions while building my own success story." What a buy. Exactly. I closed the laptop. That's why I need to publish this anonymously. Y.S. Raven sounds mysterious enough, right? Kylan, a graphic designer who'd helped countless indie authors, leaned back in his chair. "Let me help you self-publish. I know the platforms, the marketing strategies. We could have this out there in weeks." "But what about Leandro? Screw him. The industry's changing. Self-published authors are hitting bestseller lists." I opened my document again, scanning the words I'd written in fury-fueled late-night sessions. The story was different now, sharper, darker, more honest. No more trying to please everyone, no more holding back. "Okay," I said, "let's do it." The next few weeks became a blur of editing, formatting, and learning the ins and outs of online publishing. Kylan designed a haunting cover that perfectly captured the book's essence. We set up social media accounts under the Y.S. Raven name and started building buzz in indie reading forums. Meanwhile, Vanessa's memoir launch party arrived. I showed up late, wearing black. "There's my muse," Vanessa announced to her gathering of influencers and industry people, "the sister who inspired half this book." I smiled tightly. "Congratulations." "Chapter 3 is all about you," she stage whispered. "I call it When Dreams Become Delusions. It's very sympathetic, don't worry." "I'm sure it is." I checked my phone. Kylan had just sent the final proof of my book. "Excuse me." I locked myself in the bathroom and approved the publication. Within minutes, Y.S. Raven's debut novel went live on multiple platforms. When I returned, Vanessa was reading excerpts from her book. And sometimes the kindest thing we can do is save people from their own misguided ambitions. My phone buzzed. The first sale had come in, then another and another. By midnight, 3 chapters of my book had been shared across reading forums. Reviews started flowing in, raw and unflinching. Couldn't put it down. Finally, someone brave enough to write this. I left the party early, ignoring Vanessa's calls about missing her big speech. At home, I watched the sales numbers climb. Kylan called at 2 a.m. "Gabby, you need to see this. Your sample chapters are going viral on Book Talk. People are calling it the Dark Horse debut of the year." I refreshed my screen. The numbers kept rising. "There's more," Kylan said. "Check your Y.S. Raven email." I opened the inbox and froze. Subject line: "Query from Starlight Publishing House. Urgent interest in acquisition." The email was from Cecilia Allen, Senior Editor. "Dear Y.S. Raven, your novel has captured our attention in a way few debuts have. We'd like to discuss a significant offer for traditional publishing rights." My hands shook as I read the proposed figure. It was more money than Vanessa had ever made in marketing. Another text from Mom popped up. "Vanessa's upset you left early. She says you're not supporting her success." I smiled at the screen, thinking of the manuscript that rose from the shredder's ashes. Don't worry, Mom. I'm about to be very successful. The contract signing happened in a private room at Starlight Publishing. Kylan, posing as Y.S. Raven's manager, handled the face-to-face meetings while I participated via conference call, voice disguised through software. Your anonymity intrigues us, Cecilia said, shuffling papers. But this manuscript, it's extraordinary. Raw talent like this comes once in a decade. I watched through my laptop camera as Kylan signed the papers with my legal alias. Ms. Raven values her privacy, he said smoothly, but she's committed to promoting the book within those parameters. The advance hit my account that afternoon. I treated myself to an expensive bottle of wine and watched Vanessa's Instagram Live. And sales are just warming up, she was saying, though her smile looked strained. These things take time. Real literature isn't about instant gratification. The comments scrolling past told a different story, boring and preachy. Who wants to read about someone bragging? Have you seen Y.S. Raven's book? Now that's writing. Vanessa's face tightened at that last comment. Y.S. Raven? Never heard of them. Probably another flash-in-the-pan social media sensation. My phone rang. Mom, Gabriella, your sister's very upset. Her book isn't performing as expected. Maybe you could post something supportive? I'm busy with work, Mom. What work? You've been so secretive lately. Are you still writing those stories? I glanced at my laptop where early reviews of Y.S. Raven's book were pouring in. Something like that. Later that night, Vanessa called Leandro on speaker while I listened through Mom's phone at a family dinner. This is unacceptable, Vanessa's voice cracked. You promised my book would sell. The market's unpredictable, Leandro said, and this new author, Raven, is changing reader expectations. Everyone wants dark, authentic fiction now. It's just angsty garbage. I wrote a meaningful memoir about tearing down your sister? I couldn't help interjecting. How's that working out? Vanessa whirled on me. At least I'm published. What have you done lately? I sipped my wine. Oh, I've been reading. Y.S. Raven is quite good. You would like that trash? She turned back to her phone. Leandro, we need to do something. More marketing, better placement. Vanessa, Leandro sounded tired. The book's a bomb. We need to cut our losses. The silence was delicious. But you said... Vanessa's mascara was starting to run. You promised I'd be the next big thing. Things change. The industry's shifting. Leandro paused. Maybe try writing under pseudonym. It works for some people. I nearly choked on my wine. This is ridiculous. Vanessa grabbed her purse. I'm going to find out who this Raven person is. They must be someone we know. The timing is too convenient. Mom wrung her hands. Vanessa, dear, maybe take a break. No, writing is easy. If some anonymous nobody can do it, so can I. She stormed out, slamming the door. My phone buzzed with a message from Cecilia. Your book just hit number 3 on the digital bestseller list. We need to discuss publicity strategy. Another text followed. Also, Leandro Miller keeps calling, says he'd love to represent Y.S. Raven. I showed the messages to Kylan at our celebratory dinner that night. The irony is perfect, he said, raising his glass, to karma, to shredded manuscripts and second chances. My phone lit up again. Vanessa had posted a new Instagram story, working on an exciting new project. Can't wait to show everyone what real literature looks like. So watch out, Raven. Kylan read it and laughed. She has no idea she's competing with her own sister. No, I said, thinking of my next manuscript already half finished. But she will. Eventually they all will. I opened my YS Raven email to find thousands of messages from readers sharing their own stories of betrayal and redemption. They got it. They felt it. They lived it. Somewhere across the city, Vanessa was probably still raging at Leandro, demanding answers, searching for YS Raven's true identity. Let her search. Let her struggle. The best revenge was writing well, and I was just getting started. Someone has to know who YS Raven is, Cecilia said, pacing her office. The writing's too personal, too raw to be completely fictional. I watched through the video call as she shuffled through printouts of my book. Even with the voice modulator, I felt exposed. The author's privacy is non-negotiable, Kylan replied firmly. The mystery adds to the appeal. My phone buzzed. 3 missed calls from Mom. I ignored them, focusing on Cecilia's determined expression. Fine, but she stopped mid-sentence, staring at her computer. Have you seen this? Blaze Willis just announced his new novel. My stomach dropped. Blaze Willis, best-selling author and Leandro's star client. The plot summary, Cecilia read aloud. A young woman discovers her family's dark secrets through a series of inherited letters. The room spun. That was my original story, the one Vanessa had shredded. Excuse me, I mumbled, ending the call. I barely made it to the bathroom before throwing up. Hours later, I woke up on my couch to someone pounding on my door. Mom. Gabriella, open up. Vanessa's on TV. I stumbled to the door. Mom burst in, turning on my television. There was Vanessa sitting across from a talk show host, wearing her best victim expression. My sister's manuscript, she was saying. Blaze Willis somehow got hold of it and stole her entire concept. The host leaned forward. So you're saying Mr. Willis plagiarized your sister's unpublished work? Absolutely. She worked on it for years and now... Vanessa dabbed her eyes. It's just so cruel. My phone exploded with notifications. Courage, justice. For Gabriella was trending. Your sister's defending you, Mom beamed. Isn't that wonderful? I stared at the screen, watching Vanessa milk her moment. Mom, she's the one who... A wave of dizziness hit me. The room tilted. Sweetheart, you're burning up. Mom pressed her hand to my forehead. When's the last time you slept? I'm fine, The world went black. I woke up in my bed, sunlight streaming through the windows. Mom was rummaging through my desk. Looking for some paper to write down your medication schedule, she explained. Oh, what's this? My heart stopped. She was holding a draft of Y.S. Raven's next book. Mom, that's... She read the first page, her eyes widening, then the second, the third. Gabriella, she whispered, this is Y.S. Raven's writing. I just read about it in the book club newsletter. Mom, are you working for them? Editing? She flipped through more pages. These are original drafts. The doorbell rang. Through my bedroom window, I saw Vanessa's car outside. Don't, I croaked. Please. Mom looked at me, then at the manuscript, understanding dawning in her eyes. All this time, you're... Mom, I can explain. You're Y.S. Raven. She sat heavily on my bed. The mysterious author everyone's talking about. The one outselling your sister. The doorbell rang again. Vanessa's voice carried through. Mom, is she okay? I brought soup. I had to do it this way, I said. After what they did? What who did? Mom's voice sharpened. Gabriella, what happened with that manuscript? Before I could answer, my phone lit up with breaking news. Author Blaze Willis addresses plagiarism claims. Leandro Miller provided source material. Mom read the notification. Leandro? Your agent Leandro? Another text popped up, this one from Cecilia. We need to talk. Blaze Willis's publisher is launching an investigation. The doorbell became insistent knocking. Mom, let me in. I need to tell Gabriella about my TV appearance. I defended her. Mom looked at the manuscript in her hands, then at me, then at the door where her favorite daughter waited. Tell me everything, she said quietly, and this time don't leave anything out. Outside, Vanessa kept knocking, unaware that her perfectly constructed world was about to shatter. I encouraged her, Mom said, staring into her tea. I told Vanessa to pursue writing instead of you. I thought I was protecting you. Vanessa had finally given up knocking and left, but her presence lingered like a shadow between us. Protecting me from what? My voice came out harder than intended. From disappointment, rejection. The industry's so cruel and you were always so sensitive. Mom's hands trembled. But Vanessa, she was tougher, or so I thought. My laptop chimed. Another email from Cecilia marked urgent. There's more, Mom continued. Last year when you were working on that manuscript, Vanessa asked to borrow your old laptop, said she needed it for work. The pieces clicked. She copied my files. I gave her the password. Mom's eyes welled up. She said she wanted to help organize your writing. My phone buzzed. A text from Kylan. Turn on entertainment tonight now. I grabbed the remote. There was Vanessa doing another interview. And as my sister's biggest supporter, she was saying, I've always encouraged her creativity. That's why seeing her work stolen is so devastating. The host nodded sympathetically. And you're also a writer yourself? Yes, my memoir. Speaking of which, the host interrupted, our research team found something interesting. Several passages in Y.S. Raven's bestseller seem remarkably similar to early blog posts by your sister, posts that were deleted last year. The camera zoomed in on Vanessa's face. Her perfect mask slipped for just a second. I wouldn't know anything about that. Really? Because we have screenshots. The host held up a tablet, and the timestamps proved these were written before both Y.S. Raven's book and your memoir. Vanessa's face went pale. I need to go. She ripped off her microphone and stormed off set, live on national television. Oh, God, Mom whispered. My phone exploded with notifications. Cecilia was calling. We need to meet, she said when I answered. In person. No more voice modulators. This is too big. I can't. Gabriella, she cut in. Yes, I know it's you. I've known for weeks. The writing style, the personal details, the timing. I'm an editor. It's my job to see patterns. Mom touched my arm. Take the meeting. It's time. An hour later, I sat across from Cecilia in a private room at Starlight Publishing. She pushed a contract across the table. We want to release a special edition, she said. Your real name on the cover, your real story in the preface, the truth about everything. Everything? The stolen manuscript, the shredder incident, the copied files. She leaned forward. You have proof, don't you? I pulled out my phone, opened a folder labeled Insurance. I recorded everything, I said. The day Vanessa shredded my manuscript, the conversation with Leandro. I even recovered the deleted files from my old laptop showing when they were copied. Perfect, Cecilia smiled. One more thing. There's an industry awards show next week. Y.S. Raven is nominated for Best Debut. We want you to attend, as yourself. My hands shook as I signed the contract. That night, as I worked on my acceptance speech, Mom called. Vanessa's been trying to reach you, she said, and she's not doing well. The interview went viral. Her agent dropped her. Even Leandro won't take her calls. Good. Gabriella? Mom paused. I was wrong about everything. You weren't too sensitive. You were strong enough to turn pain into art. My other phone lit up with a message from Cecilia. Check your email. You're going to want to see this. It was a press release draft. Y.S. Raven revealed The truth behind publishing's biggest mystery. Below that was a quote from Blaze Willis. I apologize to Gabriella. Leandro provided her manuscript as reference material without her knowledge. I should have questioned it. Another text came through, this one from Vanessa. We need to talk. I'm outside your apartment. I looked at my acceptance speech, then at the press release, then at my sister's message. No, I typed back. We really don't. The time for talking was over. Next week, the whole world would hear my story. The morning of the awards show, Vanessa appeared on a morning talk show looking disheveled and desperate. My sister doesn't understand, she pleaded to the camera. Everything I did was to protect her, to make her stronger. I watched from the makeup chair as stylists prepared me for my debut. Kylan stood nearby, phone in hand. She's trending again, he said, but not in a good way. The comments are brutal. The host on TV pressed harder. But what about the stolen files, the shredded manuscript? That's not, Vanessa's voice cracked. You don't have the full story. Actually, the host smiled, we do. Y.S. Raven is revealing their identity tonight. Care to comment? Vanessa froze. What? I switched off the TV. Let's focus on tonight. Cecilia burst in, waving her phone. Leandro's threatening legal action claims you violated an NDA. Check your email, I said calmly. I never signed an NDA. He drafted one but never sent it. Another thing he was sloppy about. The awards show buzzed with anticipation. Celebrities and publishing executives filled the theater, all wondering about the mysterious Y.S. Raven. And now, the announcer boomed, the moment everyone's been waiting for. Please welcome Y.S. Raven. I stepped into the spotlight. The gasps were audible. My name is Gabriella, I began, and this isn't a story about revenge. It's about survival. Camera flashes exploded. In the third row, I spotted Leandro, his face ashen. 2 years ago, I trusted my sister and my agent with my dreams. They shredded them, literally. I pulled out my phone, played the recording. Vanessa's laughter echoed through the speakers as paper shredded. But writers don't need paper. We need truth. And the truth is, success tastes sweetest when those who doubted you have front row seats to your victory. Movement at the back of the theater caught my eye. Vanessa trying to push past security. Let me through, she shouted. That's my sister. Yes, I continued, raising my voice. I am your sister, the one whose work you stole, the one you mocked, the one you tried to erase. Security blocked Vanessa as she reached the aisle. Gabriella, please, I can explain. No need. I held up my award. You explained everything when you fed my manuscript into that shredder, when you copied my files, when you tried to steal my voice. Leandro stood up, straightening his tie. This is slander. I'll sue. With what evidence? Cecilia stepped onto the stage. We have all the proof, the recordings, the timestamps, the file transfers. Would you like us to play them? He sank back down. To every writer who's been told they're not good enough, I continued, who's been betrayed by those they trusted, who's been told to dream smaller, this is for you. The audience erupted in applause. Vanessa crumpled against a wall, mascara running. Security, Cecilia called. Please escort Mr. Miller out. His publishing license review hearing is tomorrow, and I'm sure he needs his rest. As Leandro was led away, my phone lit up with a message from Mom. I'm so proud of you, finally. Backstage, Blaze Willis waited. I'm sorry, he said, extending his hand. I'll make it right. Full credit, compensation, whatever you want. Keep it, I replied. Consider it inspiration for your next book. Maybe write about integrity. Kylan appeared with champagne. Your social media is exploding. Everyone loves the real Y.S. Raven. Not everyone, I said, watching Vanessa being escorted from the building. She looked back once, her face a mask of fury and defeat. My phone buzzed with another notification. Starlight Publishing was announcing a special hardcover edition of my book, featuring the full story of its creation and destruction. Ready to celebrate? Kylan asked. I looked at my award, thinking of all the nights I'd spent rewriting, rebuilding, rising from ashes. Actually, I said, I need to write. The sequel's due next month. Because the best revenge isn't just success, it's sustained success, and I was just getting started. Artistic trash never burns quietly, I read from my new book's dedication page. The launch party crowd erupted in cheers. My second novel had just hit shelves, and the pre-orders had already broken records. The autobiographical thriller about family betrayal and literary revenge had struck a nerve with readers worldwide. And now, Cecilia announced to the packed bookstore, Gabriella will take questions from the audience. A young woman stood up. Did your sister read the book yet? Vanessa received an advance copy, I said, along with a cease and desist letter from my legal team, the crowd murmured. Someone else raised their hand. Is it true she's been calling publishers claiming she helped write it? That's why the cease and desist was necessary. I smiled. But don't worry, everything in this book is documented, including this. I nodded to Kylan, who projected a video onto the wall. The footage showed Vanessa at Leandro's office shredding my manuscript while laughing. I've been saving this footage for a special occasion, I said as gasps filled the room. Consider it the director's cut. My phone buzzed. Mom, Vanessa's having a meltdown on Instagram Live. I pulled up the stream. There was my sister, makeup smeared, gesturing wildly at her phone camera. She's lying, Vanessa screamed. That manuscript was garbage. I was helping her. Leandro, tell them. But Leandro, facing his own professional ruin, had gone silent. His agency had collapsed after the scandal, and publishers were auditing all his former clients' works for potential theft. Your new book, another audience member called out. It's nominated for the National Book Award. How does that feel? Before I could answer, commotion erupted at the back of the store. Vanessa had arrived, still broadcasting on her phone. You think you're so clever, she spat, stumbling forward. But I made you. I pushed you to be better. Security moved toward her, but I held up my hand. Let her speak. She's already given me material for book 3. I was protecting you. Vanessa's voice cracked. Everything I did was for your own good. Like stealing my files? I opened my laptop, projected my screen. These timestamps show when you copied my work, when you sent it to Leandro, when you planned everything. The audience watched in stunned silence as evidence filled the wall behind me. Dates, times, emails, recordings, a digital trail of betrayal. Vanessa's phone clattered to the floor. You kept receipts? Writers always keep receipts. I turned to the crowd. Chapter 12 covers this moment specifically. It's called The Day Karma Logged In. Security finally reached Vanessa. As they escorted her out, she screamed, All your publishing contacts are ghosting me. No one will work with me. Karma's funny that way, I called after her. Almost as funny as that TV interview where you ran away. The crowd erupted in applause. Cecilia stepped forward with breaking news on her tablet. Speaking of karma, she announced, Blaze Willis just released a statement fully crediting Gabriella for the story concept he used. His publisher is offering compensation and a public apology. My phone lit up again. This time, a message from an unknown number. This is Leandro. We should talk. I made a mistake. I showed the message to Kylan, who laughed. Want me to handle that? No need. I turned back to the audience. Sometimes the best response is success. A final question came from the back. What's next for you? I picked up my new book, ran my fingers over the embossed cover. I'm teaching workshops for aspiring writers now, focusing on resilience, authenticity, and I glanced at the door where Vanessa had exited, digital backup strategies. The laughter was interrupted by a notification on the store's display screen. Breaking news. Former agent Leandra Miller faces industry investigation. Now, I said, opening my book, who'd like to hear chapter 1? It's called The Sound of Shredding Dreams. As I began to read, I noticed Mom in the back, crying quietly. But this time, they weren't tears of disappointment. They were tears of pride. Because sometimes the best stories aren't written with ink, but with truth. And truth, unlike paper, can't be shredded. The winter wind whipped through the university courtyard as I walked toward the creative writing building. Students clutched my books to their chests, whispering as I passed. Inside my classroom, 20 aspiring writers waited, laptops open, dreams intact. On the whiteboard I'd written, Lesson 1, Your Voice is Your Power. Welcome to Advanced Creative Writing, I began. I'm Professor Gabriella. A hand shot up. Are you going to tell us about your sister? No, I smiled. I'm going to tell you about yourselves. My phone buzzed. A text from Kylan. Vanessa's memoir is officially out of print. Publisher pulled it after the plagiarism review. I slipped the phone away. Open your notebooks. First exercise. Write about something someone tried to take from you. Another buzz. Mom. Vanessa's moving to Seattle. Says she needs a fresh start. Professor? A student held up my latest book. Is it true you wrote this whole thing in secret while pretending to be someone else? Truth is stranger than fiction, I said, but more importantly, truth is stronger than betrayal. The classroom door opened. Cecilia stepped in, holding a package. Sorry to interrupt, she said, but you need to see this. Inside the package was a letter from Blaze Willis, along with a check for a substantial sum. His note read, Your story deserved better. So did you. The royalties for my book are rightfully yours. Is that what victory looks like? A student asked. No, I set the check aside. Victory looks like this room, like 20 people brave enough to tell their stories. My phone lit up again. Leandro had posted a public apology on social media, admitting to years of exploiting writers. The comments section was a graveyard of broken dreams turned to battle cries. Professor? Another student raised their hand. What happened to the original manuscript, the one your sister destroyed? I pulled out my laptop, projected a document onto the screen. I rewrote it, better this time, without trying to please anyone but myself. The first page read, To those who tried to silence me, thank you for teaching me to speak louder. That's your next book? Someone asked. No, I smiled. That's your first assignment. You're going to help me workshop it, because great writers don't just rise from ashes. They help others rise too. A final text came through from an unknown number. It's Vanessa. I read your latest book. You won. I'm sorry for everything. I deleted the message without responding. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. Today, I told my class we're going to talk about voice, not the one others want you to use, not the one that makes people comfortable. Your voice, raw, real, unstoppable. Outside my classroom window, snow began to fall. Somewhere in Seattle, my sister was starting over. Somewhere in the city, Leandro was facing the consequences of his actions. And here, in this room, 20 new stories were waiting to be born. Pick up your pens, I said. Show me what you're afraid to write. The sound of keyboards clicking and pens scratching filled the air. I watched their faces, determined, nervous, alive with possibility, and saw myself in each one. Remember, I added, success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. A student looked up from her laptop. What if we're not ready? I thought of that day in Leandro's office, of shredded pages and smirking faces, of how fear became fury and fury became fuel. You are ready, I said, because the story that scares you, that's the one you need to tell. The bell rang, but no one moved. They kept writing, their words flowing like rivers breaking through dams. I sat at my desk, opened my own laptop, and began to type. The thing about revenge is that it reads better than it lives, but the thing about truth, it lives forever. Because I wasn't writing revenge anymore. I was writing redemption, not just for myself, but for every voice that had ever been silenced. And that story, it was just beginning.